when I got into high school, we had our like required text, but then we had like reading pages that we had to get, but we could read whatever book we wanted to get those pages. Like, we had people reading Twilight, Harry Potter books.
That you want to read.
Yeah, like.
Because like I think it's so important to teach kids that reading can be enjoyable. It's like it's supposed to be enjoyable. Like it's supposed to inform, but also like it should be fun, you know? Like
reading Twilight, the difference between like reading a really good book that you liked versus reading like a school book.
Yeah, like
this is homework and this is something I like to do.
It's like their book in 5th grade I hated. It was called Johnny Tremaine. Do you guys ever
remember all your books?
Yeah, this book.
I don't know what I read last week.
It was the most hideously boring book I ever read. Because it was just, like, it was supposed to be like, you know, yeah, American Revolution, Boston Tea Party. And it was just like, Johnny went into the silversmith that day. He shined the teapots. Then he had lunch of bread. And it's like, oh my God. I don't care.
Do you guys remember reading Matilda? Did you ever read that book? I remember, like, even in, like, 4th grade, I was still, like, getting read aloud. You know, like, you teach, like, after lunch, it's time to calm down, so you, like, do read aloud.
Roald Dahl.
Roald Dahl?
Roald Dahl, is that
I don't know, I just remember Matilda because it was so cool.
I think that he wrote that.
He did.
Wrote a book, Witches, which I had read to me when I was in 4th grade. And I still can remember that book so well.
I remember just, like, waiting for something to happen.
Right.
You have those kids that, like, color and listen at the same time.
Yeah.
But there was me. I was just like, this is so good.
Oh, did you guys ever read Bridge to Terabithia?
Yes.
I believe so.
Like, I remember that was like one of the first times I ever cried in a book. Because, you know, like at the end, like with the girl.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Feels.
Yeah.
But, yeah. See, like, I think, like, those read-alouds are really teaching kids that reading can be fun, you know? Like,
Yeah.
And I was like in a 1st and 2nd grade class, and they were reading like the Magic Treehouse books. And I was like, next book. And so I was like, this is obviously working.
Those books.
And that kind of goes back to like having that thing that you find that your students are interested in. It engages them more, and they take more away from it than if it's this boring book that they don't want anything to do with.
That's why, like, I've been noticing in classrooms I've been working in, they have, like, a lot of options. Like, in the, like, I do this Read 180 class. It's kind of like remedial.
Oh, I did that.
Yeah, so it's like, they have, like, these folders of all these, like...
Oh, yeah, they're, like, stacked up.
Yeah, and there's so many options. Like, there's one that, like, was, like, almost like a miniature version of a teen romance one. And, like, this one little girl I was working with, she, like, went immediately and grabbed that one. And because she really likes that genre. So I was like, that's really cool. Like, she was, like, enjoying it. And I was like, oh, what's going to happen next? Do you think she's going to get the guy? You know?
Yeah. Do you guys remember reading The Babysitter's Club?
I didn't really read that one.
It, like, made me want to be a babysitter.
Oh.
I was like, that's what books should do.
Yeah. Inspire you, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Books.
All right.
I think
we talked about everything.
We've kind of talked about our gut reactions to that, haven't we?
Yeah, I mean, like, I feel like it's just responding to these articles is like a gut reaction.
Oh, one thing that I thought about, like, just the articles that have been talking about, like, what the criteria are, I guess, for, like, how to choose that highly qualified or...
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Text. I thought about, like, how would it vary in maybe a different country or a different culture?
Oh, yeah.
Like, would they place different importance on different things?
I wonder about that.
In my section, they were talking about how Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone wasn't originally Sorcerer's Stone. It was like
philosophers.
Yeah, I was like, what? Why?
Yeah, like
sounds terrible.
I was actually I was in London and I was like, oh, okay, I have to go do all this Harry Potter stuff because So I got the first book and it was the Philosopher's Stone on it. So I was like, I feel all cool.
Like,
I'm British.
I heard that like it makes more sense in that culture, like that it would be Philosopher's Stone rather than Sorcerer's.
Maybe like they called it Sorcerer's Stone in America to try to say like this book is about wizards, you know. But then over here, like over in Britain, maybe like philosopher is more. I don't know, like maybe they already knew it was more about magic or something like that. But they were like, I think they were really trying to sell the fantasy magic part in America. Like, hey kids, look, wizards, magic. There's a 3-headed dog. You should read this.
Like
So-
boom from there.
Yeah. But that's an interesting point.
Yeah. Makes me think about how they translate books.
Mm.
Yeah.
Because I know there was some of that in the reading. Like how it can be, how like jokes don't really,
Yeah.
they aren't really jokes anymore in someone else's language.
Oh.
Yeah, like some of the meaning and stuff can be different because it doesn't
Yeah.
translate exactly. And
Yeah, like there's like I was mentioning earlier that I like anime and everything. There's this one that I watch where it's like these little characters and one character will mention a word and then the other character will make a whole bunch of puns off of it. But then I'm like reading the subs, I'm like, okay, that doesn't have anything to do with each other, but because the words rhyme in Japanese, then that makes sense. So like they could do the same kind of thing in a book, you know, like a pun on a word, but translated, it's like, and then the fish had a sandwich. Ha 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 ha. It's like, what?
yeah.
But, yeah. This was good, you guys.
Yeah, we're at,
Maybe you have any questions?
not really.
I
So
guess-
do Sunday we just have journal 1.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
what do we have to,
And then the papers due at the end.
Yeah.
I was like, are you kidding me? We have read this and another paper.
This took forever for me to
took a
do,
long
like just to
time.
get through the reading and like think
And
about it,
understand
and
it,
then
I like
dedicate?
that it was pretty like easy to read. Like it was an easy read. So
Yeah.
it was more like you had to think about it.
Mhm.
Some
Yeah.
reason just like stop. Like I
especially
don't follow.
with the children's book, like I had to sit
Yeah.
there and I don't have the book to like physically look
Look at
at
it.
too, so I was like watching the video and I had to mute it at one point. It's like I just want to look at the pictures right now.
yeah. That's,
Yeah, I liked her questions even though we didn't have to like answer them.
Yeah,
Mhm.
But
that
they were all pretty good.
like the fact she brought up, like, oh, see, it's kind of darker in the beginning and then it
Mhm.
gets brighter. Like
Look where the
that kind
fence
of
is
changed
and
how I
perspective.
thought about it too
Yeah.
at times.
Like, now we're closer to the fence. And
Mm-hmm. At times I found it kind of annoying, but
yeah, I know. It's like just finish it.
Uh-huh.
It's so good.
I
But
wonder if kids ever get like that, like, oh my gosh, stop asking questions, just finish the book.
I'm sure they do.
we don't ask questions. They'll be like la di da di da
Yeah.
in their heads. That's how I am, kind of.
I
Yeah.
read, I don't know if you've heard of the book, it's called Ahmed's Secret.
It sounds familiar.
It's about a boy who's like got the secret and he's like just going about his day and you can't wait to tell his secret to his parents, and I was using it in the read aloud and all the kids could think about was like, what's the secret? What's the secret? Well, my like focus was on the strategy of asking questions. So they just kept
Oh.
asking that question. I was like, well, do you have any other questions? And they're like, no.
No, we just want to know the
Tell
secret.
me.
I was like, so that one backfired, but like
Not
it ends
mine.
up that he's learned how to write his name.
Oh.
And so I was like, okay, and I was reading to third graders, so they weren't too excited about it.
But then like
but-
teachers get all excited, like, oh my gosh, good job, buddy.
And so I kind of had this, I was like, compare it, like, think about when you first learned to write your name. Were you really excited? And
Don't remember.
Yeah.
Can remember
It
when
was
I
just like-
wrote my name in cursive? That was pretty cool.
That we
It's
don't
definitely-
use anymore. Cursive.
I do. Wait.
My handwriting is,
It gets kind of loopy,
Yeah.
but it's not like I'm like, oh, I think this is a J. Just, like make it into a cursive.
my sister's in 8th grade right now, and she gets extra credit, I guess, or something, for like extra points for writing entire like thing
Whoa.
in cursive.
Dang, can I get that?
Yeah, I was like, oh, I would have done that.
Seriously.
But it's improved their handwriting, I guess. Like,
Like a little bit more delicate.
yeah, and readable, and
Maybe.
I mean, she used to have horrible handwriting.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah.
Just like transforms one day.
Mm-hmm. So, are we all done then? Yeah, I think so.
Here, let me
Yay.
So for
look
next
at, we actually were here. I had it on the table. Bye.